Everybody, Jesse here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I haven't come up with a clever name for any of these things yet. So for right now, I'm just rolling with um, this is my movie review of Birds of Prey, or the Fantabulous Emancipation of one Harley Quinn. And as clunky as that title is, I actually really liked it. I've liked it since they announced it. I was a little confused as to why, other than the popularity of the character, they chose to center this movie around Harley. And after seeing the movie, I can say it fits. It works. I like the title. I liked the story. I overall really enjoyed this movie and look forward to adding it to my movie collection at some point down the road. And it's one I will probably watch multiple times as far as the DC movies go. Um, I do have all of the ones set in their current universe, so I mean, it's not a big stretch to get this one, but I actually really enjoyed this one. And large part of that goes to Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, where she debuted that in Suicide Squad a couple years ago. And while that movie didn't really land that great, her performance and her portrayal of that character, I think, was really good for a live action movie adaptation of that character. They've kind of found a distillation of the different personalities and versions of her through the old cartoons and the comics, some of the newer comics and everything. So that has carried on into this movie, and I think she's the centerpiece of the movie, and she does a fantastic job. It's she's funny, she's badass, she's got a lot of great action scenes. Uh, it's really well put together. It's also kind of fragmented in the storytelling, which really works considering who Harley is. So it's kind of nice to see a mix of everything and let that character breathe a lot more than she did in Suicide Squad. Let's see what else. There's definitely acknowledgement and references to the larger DC movie franchise as they are at this point. So I'm not going to call it the DCEU because I don't know if that's technically still the technical term. Let me see if I can say technical a couple more times there. Uh, but centering the movie around her works really good. A lot of the catalyst of the movie comes from her breakup with the Joker, which has been a long running thing in the comics and just recently was ended in the comics. So seeing that they've jumped into that so quickly in the movies, I think is really good for that character because even though they're both kind of bad guys, that is a really horrible and toxic relationship. So I'm glad they've moved on from that so quickly in the movies. Uh, the rest of the cast is great. Let's see, um, I'm drawing blanks on all the actresses' names at the moment, but they all delivered great. I think on who these characters are. I was a little unsure with some of the photos I was seeing of them in their costumes and how they looked. Uh, and while everything's not going to be as comic accurate or close to comics as say some of the Marvel movie characters are, I really like how they portrayed the characters in this movie. Like I said, it was a lot of fun, a lot of great action sequences. Um, I will say there is a scene where Harley goes into the police station, and that is a really kick-ass fight sequence. I really liked it, so look forward to that when you get to see it. Um, so yeah, overall, it's pretty positive reviews. There's some nice nods and references to the more recent comics done by Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor, and so that was kind of fun. I really liked the hyena. I definitely could have used more of it in the movie, but I liked seeing Harley interact with the hyena. I think that was a really nice touch. And the way the team comes together, how they work together, how they play off of each other, is fantastic. Ewan McGregor as Black Mask is a character I personally don't have a lot of investment in, but he did a fantastic job, like he always does. Um, it's hard to believe it's the same guy that plays Obi-Wan Kenobi and some of these other characters playing this character because he's just so horrible. The character is horrible. He does a good job of portraying that. It's really good. So, yes, if you like DC movies or just action movies, I definitely recommend it. Of the couple of movies I've already seen this year, I think at this point this is landing at the top of the list. There's a lot of the year left to go, so I'm sure some things will overtake it at some point. But for now, it's my favorite year movie of 2020 so far. So if you get a chance to go out and see Birds of Prey, I definitely recommend it. It is not a movie for small children. There's a lot of language, some references, and violence that might be too much. I definitely would not take young kids to this movie. It is on the level of the Deadpool movies as far as kind of the overall tone of the action and the violence and the language and the humor and everything. So that's just my advice. This is not a young child friendly, and depending on your kids, I mean, that's entirely up to everyone else to do what you want to do, but I definitely would not take young kids to this movie. I will say there is something at the end of the movie if you do stay through all the credits. I won't spoil what it is, but just know that it's always good to stay through the movie to the credits, and even if you're looking at your phone or doing whatever once the credits come up, at least you're there giving somewhat acknowledgement and respect to the people who worked on the movie you just enjoyed. So, yeah, just stay through the credits. Try to do that at every movie unless I have somewhere else I have to get to immediately after the movie. So, anyway, I've rambled on long enough. Birds of Prey, or the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, is out in theaters in the US and coming to other countries presumably soon. I don't know. I didn't track all that information. But it is out or will be soon, and I highly recommend. Oh, almost forgot. I don't know the names of all the artists and musicians used in the soundtrack, but they had a really good soundtrack on this movie. I felt the music in Suicide Squad was kind of forced, and they tried to be cool. It worked in this movie. It works with the characters. The musical choices for the fight sequences and different things just worked really well. I think kudos to everyone who worked on this movie. Director, writer, costume designs, everything just was a really well done movie. Again, I had a lot of fun. So if you go see it, let me know in the comments what you thought. And yeah, have a great night, good day, afternoon, whatever it is, whenever you're watching this. We'll see you around.